Whew, boy. Well, what's up, good people and Eagle fans? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being a part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. I don't know what it is about the Dallas Cowboys, but injuries seem to be a major fact of life, man. It just seems like we have just been injured and injured and injured and injured. I don't know, is it the training staff? Is it we're not getting enough work in? I don't know what it is, but we always seem to have these waves of injuries. Years ago, it used to be hamstrings. Everybody was pulling their hamstrings. Then it seemed like knee injuries. We kept having everybody get knee injuries. Now it's high ankle sprains. Actually, I will put in there the Dak Prescott and Tyron Smith both having the hamstring ripped off the bone. How is it that I've never heard that happen before, and we have two guys on the same team have that happen? It's kind of crazy. But now everybody's getting high ankle sprains. It's like Oprah. You get a high ankle sprain and you get a high ankle sprain. It's crazy. Now, we may have some good news that they're thinking that Deron Bland might be back for this week, okay? He's trending in the right direction after missing 2 games. Now, here's the thing that I will say about the Cowboys, okay? Typically, when we hear about injuries and returns, it always seems like we get the lighter end, the most optimistic number for returns from injuries. We heard like Quentin Bohannon. No. I'm sorry. The Canadian bulldozer. I can't think of his name. Shoot. He hyperextended his elbow in a preseason game, and they said he'd miss like 3 weeks, and it ended up being 11. Deron Bland last year, it seemed like every week, he's trending in the right direction, and it was like 10 weeks that he missed. We heard that Diggs was going to be maybe ready for starting training camp. Savon Ravel, we were optimistic that he might be ready to start the season, and now maybe he's ready to start off IR. And speaking of him, this is where I know that we're doomed. We are so doomed, and I'm not even mad about it anymore. It's now accepted as a reality because we keep getting the same stuff that happens. Listen to me. Just think about this for a second. Jerry Jones, who right now, he's talking about, if we got that draft capital right now, when we can spend that money and stuff, if the right situation comes along. Well, what about the regular cash that we have? Because we got $31 million of space there. I would rather you spend the cash and hold on to the number 1 picks, because you're great with number 1 picks. You're ass with second round ones. So I'd rather hold on to those and have you roll the dice and you guys drafted those picks than you constantly talking about trading those number 1 picks. I'm sitting here seeing guys, guys like Jalen Ramsey. They're not trading them for number 1 picks. They're trading them for like 4th and 3rd round picks and things like that. So why are we all of a sudden now talking about making major trades with our number 1 picks? Who are you thinking that you're going to trade for that's going to help this team right now with the number 1 pick? We need to stop that shit. That shit right there, all that is to make up for the fact that we traded Micah Parsons and didn't have a plan. That is the tease, because what I heard was truly deja vu, where I realized that Jerry Jones is pissing on my head. You remember last year? When we had Jalen Tolbert as our number 2 wide receiver? And we had CeeDee Lamb, who was getting nicked up. And CeeDee Lamb, who wasn't here for training camp because of a contract holdout that the Joneses weren't forthright enough to get it done in a timely fashion where he'd be in training camp. And then we had Brandon Cooks, with a knee infection. And we had Jalen Tolbert. And Jerry Jones, after having these problems of not covering his bases, he tried to sell you on Ryan Fenoy. And he said, I can't wait to see that Ryan Fenoy out there because he's got Dez Bryant in him. And it was like, oh, shit, man, you hear Jerry talking about that guy? We got Dez Bryant back there. No, we don't. We got a bullshit snow job. Remember when we let go Cedric Wilson, who just got released now by New Orleans, but he had like a 600-yard season with Dak Prescott as number 3 receiver, and we got rid of Amari Cooper, and Jerry Jones did the same sales job with Jalen Tolbert. We got that Jalen Tolbert in the 3rd round. He's going to be great. That was to make up for the Amari Cooper, Cedric Wilson debacle. Because when you get that from Jerry, that's Savon Rebel. Because the reality is everything you decided to do as far as the secondary has blown up in your face. It just has. These acorns. What's funny is the acorns have been falling off the tree. Like, here's one. And I was working on the side of the house here. This is a little baby one. But when they fall from the trees, sometimes they hit you on the head. And these things are actually kind of heavy. You start getting, because when the wind was blowing over here, it would be like, it's just like raining acorns. And there's acorns that have landed up on the deck, and I have chipmunks, right? So the chipmunks, sometimes when I'm doing my morning video, I'll see them. They'll go by the door, and they'll pause for seconds, like he's looking in, like saying, hey, what's up? And then it keeps on going. And now they're going like up on the deck, and I think they're getting the acorns. I don't know if they're taking the acorns back to their hole or whatever and storing up for the winter. But dude has been busy, because if I'm sitting at my sports desk there, you'll see him going back and forth, back and forth. They're cute, cute. Maybe I need to name them Alvin. Alvin and Chipmunks? Okay. Sorry, I digress. But I hear them falling off the trees. And I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit in the head. I probably shouldn't look up, because then I'll get one in the eye. But that's the sales job or the snow job that Jerry Jones does to try and convince you that everything is great. We got it under control. Don't worry about nothing. And that's when you need to worry, because you're getting the snow job. Brian Schottenheimer looks totally different than he did after the Giants win. He's still got a little bit of a smile and a little bit of a laugh there and seeming a brave face, but he looks like he's really under the gun, and that he is really feeling the pressure right now of what's going on. And this is a real test to see, is he the guy? Now, with all the injuries that are mounting, we got a built-in excuse. Between Micah being traded, now the injuries that are happening, you've got 2 offensive linemen that are out. You got CeeDee that's out. You got a tough schedule. You're going to get a pass for this year. Now, Brian Schottenheimer, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember hearing this in 2020, that Brian Schottenheimer says that maybe we need to simplify things on the defense. And that's exactly what we heard about the defense in 2020. And it was a debacle. It was terrible. And we're on pace to be like that defense. Shotty says that, they're having discussions that there's going to be some changes in scheme, personnel, and so on. Now, I don't think we have a whole lot of personnel to change up with at this point. But, maybe sending a message is step one. Because they got to grab a hold of this thing. Grab a hold of the bull by the horns. Now, we have Green Bay this week, and that's going to be an emotional game for the Cowboys as well as for Micah Parsons, I can imagine. And the most Cowboy thing to happen would be is that nobody's expecting the Cowboys to have a chance in that game, and somehow they come away and win. That would be the most Cowboy thing ever. But I am setting myself up for a very long, long season. If it changes, I will be ecstatic, but I won't be disappointed because I'm not putting expectations out there that this is going to be great. I'm trying to convince myself that if it's bad, it'll be good for the future. Easier schedule, higher draft picks, maybe a new defensive coordinator again. Who knows? So, with that being said, week number 3 is now in the books. Congratulations to the Detroit Lions getting the win in Baltimore. And as always, remember, good people, take care of yourself and tell the people you love how much you love them, because you might not get the chance again. And I love you guys. God willing, see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.